What's up, guys? We are back with another knife review. I'm Greg.
Josh. Sorry, I had to get ready.
Yeah. And this is the channel where we bring you, as Josh calls it, no-nonsense knife reviews. And we have a good one today. But before we get to it, like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Hopefully our neighbors didn't hear that. All right.
Maybe they did.
Yeah, maybe they did.
Maybe they'll like, subscribe, and ding the bell.
Let's jump right in. So this is kind of a grail knife that
I would say
you can't get because
but we'll review it.
Yeah. Look, if you're ever interested in learning about what a GiantMouse knife is all about when you're one of the 300 or 400 people in the world to get that knife, this is one of 300. This is what we'll show you. We'll show you what it's all about and give you our opinion on it. Good, bad, or indifferent.
So what is this knife?
So this is the GiantMouse GM8, and in the GiantMouse series, they just number them. This is the 8th in the series. So
Classic.
GM1.
Oh, it says on the side of the box there too.
The GM8 does. Yeah.
White box, but it's printed.
White box.
Looks good, actually.
Not bad.
It'll look good on the shelf back there because you can clearly read that it says GiantMouse.
Yep. And it's got their little business card on it.
Oh.
Precious.
Looks like they maybe went through, I think I might know the printer that made this, just based on the size and the stock.
And it's
not that it matters.
And it's another white box. So I've already been messing with it, of course. I wanted to get a good impression. It actually comes in a white linen drawstring bag as well. I forgot that. It's in the toolbox.
Kind of like how the scales come from Shutterdug.
Exactly. Same exact thing. So there it is. So it is... I'll let you... Oh, hang on. Let's clean this thing. Where's the Benchmade cloth?
From Smoky Mountain Knife Works.
Thank you. Definitely been fooling with it. So
it's a handsome knife.
It is. It is a handsome knife. I thought that it was sort of made in-house, but it's actually made in Italy, like their other knives are. Most of their other knives. I think
there's only 300 of these?
There's only 300 of these in the world. And we have one. There you go. Beautiful. And it's a large clip point frame lock titanium M390 folder.
What about that milling?
Pretty neat, isn't it? And it's grippy, functional milling.
It is finished.
Yep.
That pocket clip.
Mm-hmm.
Man, for those of you that really love a pocket clip game, this has it. Has that rolled spine.
Just like you'd expect from Italy.
Yeah. But man, that milling, it's unreal. Almost Japanese-esque.
Kind of is, yeah.
Reminds me of like a big brother of the Ace Clyde.
Yep.
But far more polished.
So I've got one here. Wow. Yeah, pretty sweet. The fact that it's so rare and it's so unusual to get a GiantMouse. I mean, when they said 11 a.m., 11:03, they were gone.
No markings whatsoever except for the little tiny GiantMouse logo on the pocket clip.
That is good, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah.
There's no numbering. There's no blade steel. Nothing. It's a bare blade.
I don't even think I've tried to thumb hole open it. I think I've only ever tried to flip it. Probably.
Oh, yeah, you could.
Yeah, you could. You just got to get used to it.
You just got, that's kind of in the way.
Yeah.
There you go.
There it is. I knew it'd do it because it flings open.
It's so smooth.
Yeah, the detent is just right. So.
Well, congratulations on grabbing one of those for our collection here at Clip
Point. Yep. And cool. So, for me on something like this is where I kind of, because,
I'm not taking it from you.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Lanyard hole.
Yep. The review doesn't really matter to me because this is one of those knives. It's a limited edition, right? You're getting a knife.
Pretty hyper limited edition.
Yeah, you're getting a knife that nobody else is going to get. You're one of the few in the world, and it's a worldwide demand. Make no mistake. They were shipping these out all over the world. The Ergos, it doesn't really matter. I mean, this is a collector's knife, but it has great Ergos.
Right. Well, but what I love about it is that it is a collector's knife, but it's highly usable. Mm-hmm. It's not so much of a collector's knife that you feel like you can only use it on occasion. That's the issue that I have with my Medusa that is kind of the same ballpark as far as rarity. is that it's titanium and flamed, or it's flame titanium and carbon fiber. So it's not a knife that I feel comfortable just using on anything.
Yeah.
Where that's, milled titanium, I'm pretty sure. Is that titanium on the handle?
Yeah, it's titanium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got a very EDCable blade with that upswept kind of Bowie, whatever design.
And it's sharp, and it's got, it's got that tactical ability because it's such a long blade. And this particular one is 3.5. But yeah, and it was the clip point, version that I have to try and get a clip point anytime I can.
Now, did it only come in that variation?
It didn't. It actually came with one that I wanted, but it was sold out by the time I was able to click. So somebody had a faster internet connection than me, but it was actually all dark, and it's the one I wanted, but it is what it is. It was all etched, and it had a micarta insert.
Oh, interesting.
It was pretty fire, and that was the one I wanted, but this is fire too. It was a little bit more expensive, but who really cares?
Right, when you're at that point.
Yeah.
Really.
And that's where I want to talk a little bit about sort of where this knife exists in the world.
In the knife world.
Yes. Yep. And it exists in the $400 range. We were just talking about that. How many knives can you get that cost $400? I mean, you probably get quite a few, but not as many as knives that cost $300.
Well, I think it kind of jumps from like the mid 200s to the mid 300s up to 500. You don't really see a lot in the 400.
You don't have that it's a weird place from a budgeting for a knife standpoint. But I kind of thought, rather than doing a kind of an overview on this knife, because it doesn't really matter, it's a collector's knife. Let's talk about what costs $400, and let's see what you can get for your money and see how we feel about that holding those knives. And I think I've got a couple of good comparisons with the Eclipse by Hinderer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And, you can compare the size and, I think it's a little bigger.
Yeah, it is.
Right. And, it's the blade length is just a skosh more, just a bigger knife overall. It's chunkier. I don't know. I mean, look, for me, when I got this in hand, the Hinderer wowed the heck out of me because of the hardware effect. Mm-hmm. It was like it's like a gun, like all the little switches and everything on there, and the little cutouts in a gun make it look more bad. It's like why everybody likes a 1911 more than a Glock from a like standpoint.
Right.
Because a 1911 is all the cuts and everything on it, and a Glock is a boat anchor. Right. And I enjoy both. But I don't know. You tell me. I mean, that's 400. This is what, 4.25. They're both in that same ballpark. And then you can get a Medford 187F. Not quite as big as those two. Just a skosh shorter. But you get a Fat Daddy Medford for about the same money. And by the time it comes down to it, quite frankly, when I look at that knife, to me, I feel like the GiantMouse is a limited production $250 knife. I know that may feel a little savage, but case in point, here's the Lily at $179. Go ahead.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You feel that? And then...
So really you're buying the rarity.
I think so. I think that you're buying limited production number.
M390 as well?
Yep, M390. LMAX
almost
here,
the same.
Right? 170 or something for one of them. I know they're a little smaller, but you see the gap. I do too. So, am I saying that it's not worth? No, I'm not saying that. Worth is, especially in the grail world, is up to you.
Right, for sure.
Worth is completely up to you. From a fit and finish standpoint, it feels like it's the same quality as a Lily, as it is a Clyde. It's the same knife. So you're actually not getting a Medford kind of knife.
Yeah.
What you're getting is you're getting an Ace. It's the same quality as every other.
You're buying the rarity.
You're buying the rarity, right? It's a giant mouse. It's really, to me, it's no different. I mean, maybe your experience has been different with some other GM models, but I think you're buying rarity, not like this amazing quality difference or like...
It's elegant, no doubt about it.
The knife is great.
Designed really well.
Yep. But somebody's going to have to make a decision. Would they actually take it over a Hinderer?
I don't think I had not seen this knife coming into this. This is my first time handling it, seeing it. He notified me when the purchase was made. I knew that he acquired it. I haven't seen it, didn't know anything about it. It's cool. And we'll get into the grading just so you guys have it and kind of know where it falls. It's cool. But I don't think I would buy this over either one of those.
I don't either.
For me personally, Made in USA has some weight behind it.
Yeah.
Hinder is tried and true. Medford's tried and true. GiantMouse is tried and true.
It's a great knife.
It depends on your purpose for your knife as well. Like if you were, in a high-end situation, you dressed up often. This is a black tie event knife.
It's exclusive. Exclusivity has tremendous value to it, right? It's kind of like, you can buy a Mustang that's faster than cars that are much more expensive, but those are exclusive vehicles. Like an Aston Martin. There are Aston Martins out there that you'd much rather own than a Mustang.
Right.
But the Mustang would be faster in a lot of sense than an Aston Martin. It's not the fastest car on the planet.
Right.
But man, it is way cooler and way nicer, right? So
well, that's what it is.
It's
a great comparison because
this feels like James Bond, baby.
Yeah, it's more sporty,
right? This feels like James Bond.
These two knives these are going to last the price tag.
Yeah, I just don't think that, like, when you look at the grind lines here, they're not special. They're fine. They're good, but they're not epic. It's not as good as your ZT Hinderer.
No,
it's not a Microtech level of grind, right? It's fine, right? There's nothing wrong with it. It's good. The milling is really, really cool. I dig that. Definitely has an Italian feel. That milling does, right? It feels Italian. Feels coastal.
I think I would
waves.
I'd rather save the money and buy like a Lily or a Clyde and then buy something else.
Yeah.
You could buy both of these knives for the price of that knife.
That's true. Right, but
and these are equally as cool.
So I think that for people for their first time, if you get one of the GiantMouse, look,
don't feel bad that you missed it.
No matter what we say, it's going to sell out every single time. You're going to bring a high quality knife with high quality materials from a reputable designer. And we love Vox Design. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Probably one of the highest on our list. And you do that and you're going to sell that knife. You do 400 of something, it's gone. Right. So there's nothing we can do to diminish it. What I'm going to say is that, like, when you talk about PVD, you talk about just the fat massiveness of this Medford, right? The finish on the pocket clip, the tumbling of the titanium, the massive standoffs, S90V,
the cool hardware,
the really cool hardware. I know they probably made these in CPMD too as well.
Well, their proprietary hardware just looks cool.
It does, right? Because it's unique. Nobody else makes this. There's so many elements to this that kind of take it over the edge. Well,
and beauty's in the eye of the beholder, of course.
It is.
And I'll say, this is a pretty nice.
That's far more elegant than this. This is a fat daddy knife, right? That's what it's there for. So I don't know.
Again,
I just thought it would be really important to show everybody what you get when you get a GiantMouse versus an Ace.
Right.
I believe you get a completely unique one-off design like they claim it is. But when you talk about the materials, it's the same as the Ace line. So you don't expect to get some kind of wild departure on materials.
Yeah, you're not going to get some extreme super steel.
No, I don't. I mean, it's M390, which is great. But yeah, that's where it is. So really, really cool knife, though. But yeah, I guess we can dive into it.
Yeah, might as well. So Ergos.
So Ergos on this are really, really good for me. So for a large hand, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's a long knife.
Yeah, and it has decent jimping. It's relatively thin. So Ergos on this is going to be about a 9 out of 10 for me. No significant hot spots.
It's a little long for me, but you have big hands.
Yeah.
I will say I like the little trigger, the little flipper trigger. That's nice.
And look how they cut it so it actually gets your finger.
It's small. It's small but powerful.
It's shaped like a cup, so you're not going to miss the flip on.
No. I do like the jimping. It's usable jimping. Of course, the grippiness of all of that machine work is amazing.
Which they do the Lily the same way.
All the smooth bevels. 9 out of 10. I think, and that also adds a little bit of grip there once it's flipped out.
Mm-hmm. It does, yeah. It's like a finger tool.
Nice. But again, this is not a knife you're going to be, really getting in on.
No,
I wouldn't be cutting into a stick with this.
Yeah,
just based on the rarity,
right? And that's where it takes you into tactical. So, there is something that I notice is that it has maybe like a 10% lockup on the frame lock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
so it'll wear in.
I hope so. I mean, that would be my idea. You'd want more than that, and you can squeeze more into it. But as it came finished, it's about a 10% lockup. And so you're not going to be stabbing this, look, reverse blade strikes. I can't imagine why you would do that. But frame locks are just notorious for not locking up fully whenever they get a jarring, a jar or a shock. They'll pop closed. Just because of their lockup. And so it's probably the same here. But from a tactical standpoint, in a soft object, it's tactical.
Yeah.
Right? It's a 7 out of 10 for me on tactical because it doesn't have a fast deployment necessarily. But when they talk about a thin blade that's razor sharp from the factory and is pointy, it is definitely tactical. It's lethal. It can definitely do that. It is grippy. That titanium, those grooves are not letting go. For sure. So it's definitely capable of tactical tasks.
Yeah. For sure. It's just not the knife that I'm going to pull.
Nope.
In our circumstances, this would fall into the EDC category.
Yes, it's an EDC knife.
There would be something else in the pocket, hopefully.
Large EDC.
That you could use, for that. But it is definitely tactical. Could be used for that. I completely agree. It's just not fast. 7 out of 10 for me on tactical.
Yeah,
definitely grippy though.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it's decent.
Now, cool. No, EDC.
EDC.
I do that every time.
Almost. So, for EDC, yeah, great. How much does this thing weigh? And you're talking about I would consider it a full size, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, 4 1/4. How does it compare to the SOCOM?
Back of my pocket.
Yeah.
SOCOM is much bigger.
Yeah, especially in the handle. That tapering off is much, much larger. Yeah, the blade's a skosh larger. And so a SOCOM is coming in at 5. And then 4 1/4. So pretty good. 4 1/4, solid titanium, right? So from an EDC standpoint, especially a dressy, large EDC that you want to make an impression with, this is going to do it for you.
Yeah, that's definitely a black tie event knife.
Yeah, this is a special knife that, yeah. It's only 1 of 300.
Yeah,
right?
It's highly sought after.
Yeah, very EDC-able knife, very EDC-able blade. Probably going to be a 9 out of 10 for me on EDC.
Yeah, so, for sure.
Slim. It feels great in pocket.
Yeah, not big, not a huge footprint.
Has
really
jimping
cool
on places that other knives don't.
That's a fact.
It flips easy.
Yeah, 9 out of 10 for me as well.
Blade shape. It's full
blade
flat
shape,
ground.
Yeah.
I mean,
good steel. Not something that's going to be just absolutely impossible. It's M390, correct?
Yeah. M390 is a challenge, but it's not going to be impossible.
It's not impossible. It's not S90.
Right. But S90 doesn't get dull. So.
That's a fact. But yeah, just super smooth, light in pocket, very ergo, which adds to that EDC ability. Yeah.
Cool. It's a cool knife, man. And the one from from a cool factor, it's going to be a 9 out of 10 for me because it's not wild, right?
Right.
I think the other knife with the micarta inlay and the stone wash and the dark finish and all of that, all the acid etching involved, to me, that knife would be a 10.
Right.
Because it's this design, but with those amazing elements.
So did they make 300 of each?
300 and 100 of the GM8, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah. So, which is PVD coated and
Yeah.
all that. So just that's an epic knife. I would say this is just a touch behind it. So it's going to be on a cool factor 9 out of 10. Exclusivity equates coolness.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And it has all the design elements right, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it does.
They didn't mess anything up on that knife.
It does. I think, and for photos and things, it just really catches light really well, just because of all of that machine work.
Yes.
It is very cool.
Creates dimensionality.
I don't think
and
that it's what it costs cool.
Yeah, it feels like a $250,
it does.
$300.
But it is still very cool, very Italian. I agree with 9 out of 10. Just some really cool design factors. Like I really love that flipper there, how they did that. Really love the machining. Love the pocket clip. That's really cool. Blade shape's cool, and I love that there's no markings on the blade.
Yeah,
it's just a bare
very
blade.
subtle.
Yeah,
definitely
cool.
Do that. Yep. Overall, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for me overall. So good score. I really dig the black hardware against the blue. I'm glad they thought about that. It'd have been so easy just to do satin hardware.
That's the coastal feel of it.
Yeah, it'd be really just so simple, and it's matte. Everything has a nice matte finish. And with stuff like this, it does come down to little subtleties in the details, right? And
well, it should with the price tag that it is.
I think so. And there's, I've already, seen where guys are saying, yeah, there are some little pieces missed out of the milling, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I can see some of those.
Right.
But this is a very tough mill to do because it's a wave.
On titanium.
Yeah, on titanium. And it has the natural wear, kind of pocket worn look to it. So, yeah.
It'd be interesting to see a design like that on something like micarta. How that would take, if it would take.
Oh, the waviness. That's interesting.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
It would never let go of your hand.
8 out of 10 is a good score.
Yeah, I think so. So there you go.
I'll say, kind of to cap it off, think it's cool. I think it's cool that we have it in the Clip Point collection, just because it's kind of a feather in our cap. But if you missed out on it, I would be completely heartbroken.
Yeah, because I didn't know what to expect, right? I think that all of them could have been the GM8 model, and it would have been a little bit more special.
Yeah.
Because it had so many dimensions that were just different.
Right.
Whereas
there's a lot to look at.
There was so much going on, right? That I think they all could have been that model and probably would have been great. The satin finish and all of that, I think, just really is more normal to me. Right.
Yeah.
But those other PVD, the coatings and all of that kind of stuff takes it into the next level. So I would have liked to have scored that one. But still, it's pretty much a perfect pocket knife, and it should be. There's really nothing wrong with it.
But I think
at $400, it didn't really blow my mind.
It could have been mass produced at $250.
Could have been, right? Like if this were Ace line, I would be like, yeah, totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. So there you go. Well, there you go, guys. Tell us what you guys think about this. I know that you've seen it online and you've seen it here.
Right.
You'll never probably be able to handle one, but yeah.
Unless you got one yourself. And if you did,
unless you're one of the few. And if you're one of the few, comment below on what you think about our assessment of this knife. Well, I'd really like to hear from another user of it and see what you think.
Right. And, we try to be completely honest, guys. Yeah. This is a knife that's highly sought after, and it might ruffle some people's feathers that we didn't rank it higher because, they spent the money.
Yeah, there could be some diehard fans
out
there, like everything they produce is blah, blah, blah. Well, I agree. I'm a big fan of the line, and I like their stuff. I wouldn't have gotten it if I didn't like it because I knew I was probably going to get the satin model.
Yeah.
So it's a great model. Look, I ordered the bead. The GiantMouse bead for the lanyard, so I'm going to have a lanyard on with the giant. So I'm doing the whole thing.
Try to match the blue.
No, it's a bronzy. But
with your cord.
Oh, with my cord, yes. Yeah, I'll try and find some cord to match, or maybe go leather. But that's it. So,
all right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed this review.
yes, indeed.
And if you did, let us know below. And
If you
we'll see
didn't,
you on the next one.
let us know below. Stay sharp.
Stay sharp.